Thank you, patrons! What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie, and welcome to my weekly reads video. This is just where I talk about all of the things that I've read over the last week, just share any insights or takeaways I might have about those, starting with what I finished. Actually, back up a second. Before I get into the books that I finished this week, something exciting that I got to be a part of that I want to share with you in case you don't follow the Talking Story. John invited me to be a guest on his Talking with Tubers series that he does. I was a part of that on Thursday night. We had so much. I knew as soon as he started his channel, I could tell from his personality, his sense of humor, and also the books that he reads, that we would just get on famously with one another. I was exactly right. I told John, I was like, we don't need a Talking with Tubers. We need our own series. So that was really fun. I'm going to put a link down in the description below if you want to check it out and see all the shenanigans we got up to. That was so much fun. Now, let's talk about what I finished this week. So I did finish the two books that I was working on last week. It was so difficult to decide between the two when I was sitting down to read because they were both so good. The first one I'll talk about is Save Game by Joseph Sale. I think we're going to get pre-order links very soon. I will be sharing those on all of my social media. This was originally released in October of 2019. It's had some revisions because the author has been able to turn this into a series. I believe the vision is 4 books. We're going to get Save Game at the end of January 2025. The sequel, Death Game, is going to be coming later in the year, which I'm going to be beta reading starting very soon, within a few days. And then there'll be 2 more books that are going to come out in 2026. Save Game falls into the game lit or lit RPG genre. This book was written before it became all the rage that it is currently, thanks to the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Denneman. I would say that Save Game is more on the serious side of the lit RPG genre. It was very well written, as is the case with Joseph Sale. I have yet to read something by this author and put it down feeling disappointed or unfulfilled. These books always enrich my life in some way. This one really made me feel some nostalgia, not from what was mentioned so much in the book, just that I had so many feelings reawakened because I experienced so much of what the main character experienced. So Levi Jensen is an 18-year-old who works part-time at a pizza place. His father has a very serious illness. The operation is $350,000. They don't have it. So as a last-ditch effort, he's taking something that he loves doing, which is playing video games, and he has entered into a tournament for a virtual reality game called Fate of Ilaria. Only 1,000 people are allowed to compete in this game, and it's not just any 1,000 people. It wasn't a lottery. It was people who were participating because they needed the money. This wasn't just oh, I'm a really good player, I'm gonna go play this game and win the money. So that really added that high stakes element that kept me just reading through the pages. Of course, it had the great character work that I've come to expect from a Joseph Sale book. So I'm really excited because I know a lot of you are huge fans of Dungeon Crawler Carl. I really think you would like this one. So as soon as I get that pre-order link, I'm gonna be sharing it on all of my social media, and I'll mention it here as well. The next book that I finished reading was We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. This book was such a delight. Richard Osman is another author that I love to go to for humor and just making me feel good about people. He also has this knack for making me feel better about the aging process, that it's not this scary unknown that I seem to always think that it's going to be. Richard Osman is also the author of the Thursday Murder Club series, which is a delight in its own right. But We Solve Murders is the start of a brand new series by the same name, We Solve Murders. It features Amy Wheeler and her father-in-law, Steve Wheeler. Such an unlikely combination for a detective duo, but oh my word, I just loved it. They have such a unique relationship, and that's not even the only unique relationship in this book. I'm already excited for the second one, and I will say, I got this book from my library. I've been in line ever since it came out. I put a hold on the audiobook, the ebook, and the physical copy. The audiobook came available first. Did not like the narrator, Nicola Walker, at all, except for one character that she voices, Rosie D'Antonio. Rosie is a writer, a mystery writer, crime thriller writer, and oh my goodness, she was amazing. And Nicola gave her this very just certain kind of style voice. If you listen to the audiobook for the Liber Bray series, The Diviners, January Lavoie did that one. The voice that she gave Theta, that old rapper, like 50s New York style voice, just very deep and throaty, that reminded me of Rosie's voice. They both just had this glamorous feel to their voices. Just absolutely loved it. If you're an avid reader of the crime thriller genre, the cozy mystery genre, there's nothing new done here, but the characters, Richard Osman is coming for Stephen King, in my opinion, as far as writing and developing characters. Those of you that have read both, I would love to hear from you in the comments and see if you agree. One other book that I want to mention while we're talking about finished books, I actually read this one a few months ago, but I want to mention it again because it just came out on Monday. Before the End. These are short stories by John Palladino from the world of Cedain. Cedain is the world that houses all of the characters from the Tragedy of Cedain series, which there's currently 2 books out in that one. I think the final book is coming soon. I think he originally visioned having 4 books for the series, but it's looking like everything's going to wrap up in book 3, which is fantastic. I don't care what's going to happen. Whatever John Palladino writes, I'm going to read it. So these short stories, they are just an absolute gift to fans of the Tragedy of Cedain series. It's not required reading. There's nothing in these stories that you need to know in order to enjoy the books. I would say don't read this collection until you've at least read the first book in the series, The Trials of Ashmount. It will enhance some of the characters you met in the first book, and it will prepare you for some of the characters you're going to meet in the second book. What I love about these stories is that it's not required reading, pure enjoyment. What they do is we meet characters, we get their origin stories, or we get more information about an event that was hinted at in the books in the series. I know some of you are thinking I might be a little biased. There is a short story that features a character named after yours truly. I work in a tavern. It's named after me. I no longer own the tavern, which you're going to find out why in the story, but oh my gosh. This author captured me perfectly. I had so much fun with this story. I had to go and read certain parts of it to my husband, and he just looked at me and he goes, dang, that guy nailed your personality to a T. It was just so crazy to read 3 or 4 sentences in a description and go, holy crap, that is a fantastic way to describe who I am as a person. And you just couldn't have done better than making me work in a tavern, because I would be in there just telling tall tales with all the people that came in there drinking. I'd be stirring up some trouble, just having a grand old time. I'll have the link to the Tragedy of Cedain series and the short story collection in the description box below. If you have not read the Tragedy of Cedain series, it's a grimdark fantasy that is just so good. If you like Russell Crowe's Gladiator, I think you would love this series. Now, I want to tell you, this is the darkest of dark on the grim dark spectrum. If you don't like to explore how a person gets their horrible reputation on the page, not off the page, there's no let these 2 characters talk about this person's reputation and we just infer how horrible of a person they are. No, we see what they do to earn that reputation. Now me, I enjoy it. I love the grimdark subgenre of fantasy. I read a lot of it, so I really love when an author does something a little different with it, and just getting to see these characters do what they do, love it. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, check out those links in the description below. And then my last finished book this week is The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. So this is a historical fiction story. It takes place in the Cold War between Britain and Germany, of course, you know, the Americans had to get involved as they do. Back in like 1917, I believe, is when the timeline for this one starts. For Freddie, his sister Laura's timeline starts in 1918. I had no idea what to expect in this book. I know that I love the Winter Night trilogy, and that made me want to read everything by this author. And I'm actually still in my feelings about it. I liked it, and it does have that sort of fairy tale quality to it that the Winter Night trilogy had. It seems that she took a lot of supernatural stories, rumors that were spread during this war, and she incorporated them into this book, except for the main one. That never really got explained, and I don't think I'm okay with that. I'll just tell you a little bit of what it's about, and maybe you can get a feel for it and decide if it's one that you want to pick up. If you've read it, I would love to hear what you think about it. So it is about Laura and her brother Freddie. 1917, Freddie is participating in the war. He gets bombed. He gets trapped under a pillbox with a German soldier. And then the other timeline in 1918 is his sister Laura. She's a combat nurse. She got injured in action. She's been sent home. You know, I thought it was going to be predictable for a while, and then it got really good there for a minute when the timelines converged, and then it just got a little weird, and I don't know what I think about this one. I'll just have to sit and mull this one over for a few days. This is one I cannot just sit down and put my notes down on paper and say, this one is a 4-star rating. And no, I don't know. We're gonna let that one stir around, and I'll update you next week if I've made up my mind. My other read, y'all already know, it is This Inevitable Ruin by Matt Denneman. I really struggled with starting this one because I want to listen to the audiobook, so I compromised with myself. I gotta know what happens next. I gotta know what's gonna happen in these faction wars, so I'm gonna go ahead and read it on digital. It popped into the Kindle Unlimited subscription on Monday. I'm having so much fun, and with the week that I've had, I need all of the joy and laughter I can. So I am forever grateful to Carl and Donut. They are always good for making me crack up. I am very early on in this book. We've had a recap. We've kind of got our bearings. The two have opened up their loot boxes that they got from all of the events that wrapped up the previous floor of the dungeon. So I'm early on. There has been some really funny moments. Oh my goodness. Those of you out there that are like me and you're reading the book right now, I need to know what you all think of what race Mordecai is in this book. Just when you go down in the comments to share your thoughts, just type spoiler and hit enter a few times so that no one sees it that is waiting for the audiobook. Oh my Lord, I read that part 4 times. And then comes the hard part. What's next on the TBR? Well, I want to read the sequel to Save Game, Death Game by Joseph Sell. That's actually one I'm going to beta read. So I want to read that one. And then I have my November patron pick of the month. It's called Nobody's Son by Sean Stewart. From what I've been able to find out about this one, it's a speculative YA fantasy adventure series, and it first published in 1993. I am so excited to go back and read some of that classic fantasy. The cover has that style that was really popular in the 90s, so I'm going to enjoy going back because this was when I was in high school. I think I was a junior in high school when this one came out. I bet I'm going to have a really good time with this one. My patron Chad picked this one because he really enjoyed reading it, and he thought I was going to like it so much that I was going to give it 4 stars. So I'm excited to find out. Y'all, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for always being here. There are so many of y'all that watch these videos that have been watching since I started this channel almost 5 years ago. Y'all are family to me, and thank y'all. Have a great weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again to all of the Nerdy Narrative patrons. Without your generosity, your support, this channel would not be what it is. A special shout out to my nerds Radiant: Chad, John, Gail, Amanda, Star, Tara, Ann, Amanda, Andrew, Kate, Ev, and Sharon.